Alright, Father's Day deserves a really good Father's Day story. So that's what we're doing today. A little bit of story time. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Citystead. Happy Father's Day to all the awesome dads out there doing what you do, being awesome and just being dads. So with it being Father's Day, I was kind of thinking about being a dad, things that go into it, a little bit about my dad. And I thought of this funny story, and I think of it quite often actually. So I thought maybe I'd share this story with you guys, maybe get a chuckle out of it, and tell you kind of why this story particularly sticks out to me as much as it does. So, let us begin. So this story is about when my brothers and I were younger. We had moved out to the country from the city, and my dad really wanted all this land. So he bought land, then we moved to another side of town, he bought more land. And I had always really been into skateboarding and BMX type stuff. Punk rock homesteader! Of course I had a skateboard, and we had BMX bikes. Well, I had the skateboard, and we had a garage, and it was the only cement we had. Just a little garage area, and it had this tiny lip where it went to the stairs downstairs. Just a little bit. Just enough to ollie onto, and like you could do little tricks on it, do little stops on it, and it was fun. So we'd always play around in there and skateboard and try to do stuff on there just all the time. Now this is where the story gets good. So this story is about one time when my dad wanted to show us how cool he was. And he had been out working in the yard all day. Getting later in the afternoon, he was going to go enjoy himself a beer. And he goes inside, grabs his beer. Now my dad, at the time, so we're talking about a time frame shortly around the time my dad got his kegerator. He had always wanted a kegerator, and he finally got himself a kegerator. So he wasn't coming out into the garage with a bottle of beer or a can of beer. No, he was coming out with a 20 ounce, I think it was a Pistons cup from a basketball game. And it was all the way full, had a nice frothy top, because that man knows how to pour a beer. So it had this nice frothy top. I mean, you could see it, and he comes out into the garage, come up the stairs, and there we are in the garage. We got, I don't know what my brothers and I were doing at the time, but the skateboard's in the garage. It's sitting very close to that step. Like you could step off the step onto the skateboard and roll to the end of the garage. Well, of course, my dad thought he was going to show off how cool he was. And my dad come out with his beer, and he hopped right on that skateboard like he was going to roll to the end of the garage. Oh, of course, that never works out the way it does. So the skateboard goes shooting out from underneath him, and here goes my dad, downward, downward, downward the whole time, holding this beer, mind you. This beautiful, freshly poured 20 ounce of beer. And I tell you what, the most amazing thing happened. That man did not spill one single drop of beer. As a kid, you're thinking, what? How on earth is that possible? But that man did it. He somehow shot a skateboard out of the garage. It was all the way out. Fell backwards, holding this beer in an open cup, we're talking. Open! He tipped it as he was going down like his wrist was a gyro. And he did not spill one single drop of beer out of that cup. Landed, got back up, dusted himself off, took a sip of the beer, and went out and finished his project he was working on. That story's funny to me. It always is. I always think of it. It cracks me up. It's one of those stories about like your dad that you can call your brothers, in my case, because I got brothers, and you could just say, remember that time, and they will almost instantly remember it with you, and you can laugh about it and enjoy it. And it's one of the funny stories to me. And I'm bringing it up because it's a funny story, but it's also a story that kind of reminds me and puts me in a mindset of dad mode. So a lot of you who have watched our channel for a while know that I pride myself on trying to be a really good dad. I think I am, you know, and if I am a good dad, a lot of it is because of, you know, I got a really good wife who's behind me and supportive and always taking a lot of the brunt, and I do get to be the fun guy sometimes. And I'm always trying to, you know, have fun with the kids. I want them to remember fun things that we do. But that story always sticks in my mind of my dad, because that story happened on a day where nothing was going on. We were just home. My brothers and I were messing around in the garage. My dad was working on a project, and it was just a normal day. It wasn't a special thing. But that's the story that sticks in my head more often than a lot of the other stories. I think of that story a lot. And it's because he took that couple of minutes to try to do something with us while he was accomplishing other things. And that's the story I remember the most. So it's kind of amazing to think that trying to do all this stuff and the everyday type of things are what I remember. So I try to think of that too with my kids. One day they're going to have a story about me. It's not going to be that I took them here, or I did this for them, or I did that for them. It's going to be some silly story that they have about me trying to be cool and not succeeding, possibly. And that's going to be a story that they remember and that sticks in their mind like it did in my mind. And it's kind of interesting to think about, because those everyday moments, those are the ones that are important to kids. You know, it's not all the other stuff. It's the coming home and deciding to play with the kids for a few minutes before you go and do something. Or maybe in the middle of something, you come over and you crack a joke with them, or you do something silly with them for a couple minutes. Those are the moments that I try to do for my kids a lot. I do try to take them out, and I try to have them fun times. But I also try to make sure that on a normal day, I might just do something with them, and they'll remember that. And that'll be the thing they remember most about me. Kind of like the story about my dad. That's it. That's my story about my dad. I thought it was funny. It really is a story that just sticks in my mind. And I think of it for that simple reason of the couple minutes that my dad took out to, try to show us how cool he was and how he could roll across the garage on that skateboard, and how, in failing, he did it in such a smooth style that you just can't help but think like, whoa, you the man. So for all my other homesteading dads, and any dads who possibly watch this, keep doing what you're doing. Keep trying your hardest. I like watching all you guys because it pushes me to be a better dad, to try to be a better dad. And I think we really need something like that. It's just a lot more dads being awesome dads, or just trying to be the best dad that you could be. That's it. That's my piece. I'm out. Enjoy your Father's Days. I'm going to be out planting my garden on mine.